wrong with you? What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? You're doing it, stressing me out. I'm gonna tear your fucking head off and eat it on a fucking sandwich. You fucking piece of shit human being. You raped my child with a dildo. This dildo. You got spit all over my computer. That's awesome. Yep, that was a whole lot of fun. Let's see. Did you ever watch Revenge of the Fallen when Optimus Prime peels off that other guy's face? That's what he's like in this movie. But not that bad. After what feels like a 2-hour action sequence chase, which Optimus Prime randomly scans a random truck that is going by and turns into it. I'm not even kidding. He turns into this truck that goes by. It's not even the same truck. It's not the same model. He just changes while he's driving by. It doesn't even make sense. What the fuck? That doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you doing? You fucking idiot. What? I had nothing. That is the largest continuity error I've ever seen in my life. Did they even do that in any of the other movies? They drive by and scan something and just magically turn into it. But, like, it's like a pimp's freaking semi-truck. It's like the worst design thing I've ever seen in my life. So, now these three are just driving, and after what literally seems like another 3 hours, I'm not even kidding, this movie is incredibly long, we meet the Autobot team.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children, watch that sound. Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Every time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep. Into your life it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. You better stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
You want to see what's better than that fucking screensaver? Here we go. Take a deck of cards, Micheal Bay, and just do this to your film. Just do this. Just do this. That looks better! Look, it's actually there. Oh my god, it's the Transformers. They're traveling. You film that and slow it down. It looks the same. Now, you're probably wondering, these people are so brilliant with their technological advances. What are they using? What possible Transformer are they getting this DNA pattern that they're coding? What are they getting it from? The head of Megatron. The head of Megatron. You fucking idiots! That was the fucking person who destroyed Chicago. They're not all the same. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. You'd think by now it'd be like in the most wanted list of these bad robot guys, but no, obviously he's not the most wanted, apparently, because you guys are such freaking idiots. He's not the worst of all of them, which doesn't even make sense why he's not. Because he's such a freaking bad guy, and he destroyed and killed all those innocent people and the other ones, so why is he not your number one thing you'd be looking out for? Would you like to explain that to the audience, Micheal Bay? Of course you wouldn't, because you don't even know what fighting is. So, they have this little tiny retarded robot translating what's in Megatron's head and demating them. We later find out, though, that that little tiny robot knows that he is programming Megatron's self to be in a new body. He's programming with all the evilness, basically creating his own army. You stop that and change one of the numbers. You freaking dumb robot, retard small blue thing with the giant eye and the hair on his head. Another terrible design robot. I mean, yeah. And the Transformer is not programmable or controllable. So you failed, Stanley Tucci. You fail at life, you freaking terrible inventor. Hey, at least your acting makes up for it, though. It's pretty amazing. Just saying. Oh my God, I never pressed record. Oh, it is recording, just kidding. Just blends in with that red thing up there. Alright, that was random. Alright, so Megatron, now called Galvatron. Why just call him Megatron, keep the same name. Don't confuse the kids. Because he looks just like Megatron, but he's a horrible designed villain. Yeah. So, Megatron and his bullshit army come and meet up with Optimus Prime and his random crew of people that we don't care about, and they start fighting for no reason again. In another mindless action scene, orgy of explosions that doesn't make any sense. And they start fighting, and then these giant aliens come in and start blowing everything out. And then Optimus Prime comes out of nowhere, and somehow he has Dinobots off the ship, which doesn't even make sense. And then he goes, "Dinobots, I can tame you, we must stand together." Stanley gives you a huge, ridiculous speech nobody gives a shit about. And then he gets on top of the Dinobot, the T-Rex, which is, they're not even Dinobots, they're fucking, like, cavemen things, and they turn into Dinobots. It doesn't even make sense, okay? Did they scan them like Optimus Prime did when he drove by the car that makes them turn into him? Like, that doesn't make sense. Why? Yeah, so he starts to do that, to try and tame them. And he gets on top of them, looks like he's sexually having sex with the dinosaur up the ass, and it's pretty terrible, and it basically ruins the movie, again. And while taming them, Optimus Prime just starts beating the shit out of them, which is kind of terrible. It's like beating the shit out of your grandmother after she bakes you cookies. That's what a normal person does, right? Because I know I do that. I also keep my grandfather's body in a fucking trash bag. He's in my closet right now. Wanna see it, kids? I'm fucked up. So, yeah, they right away on the Dinobots. Where the hell were they even? What the fuck? Doesn't even make sense. Were they in the middle of California, wherever the hell this movie takes place? I mean, Paris, Texas, or Paris, USA, or Texas, USA? Because I'm from Texas, USA, because the people out of the other parts of the world won't know where Paris, Texas is. So, Stanley Tucci is told by Mark Wahlberg that he's going to kill millions of innocent people because he's going to let this bomb go off. The bomb that Kelsey Grammer, the good guy, got from them for another reason. And why the fuck did Kelsey Grammer get this giant seed from? I still don't even know. He was trying to make his own army of them by testing it out, which doesn't make sense because they tested the seed out and he killed the dinosaurs in the end. Turned them into metal things, so I'm assuming he's gonna make the people in them and everything else into it. But this entire last sequence is so confusing and ridiculous and awful. I can't even. I'm not even gonna be able to explain this because I don't even understand what was going on half the time. I looked it up on Wikipedia. I don't remember any of this stuff happening. I remember this giant ship came in and somehow they flew to Beijing to light it off in the middle of the city, which doesn't make sense. And Santucci all of a sudden became a good guy, even though he blew up Mark Wahlberg's house, and now he's a good guy. And they start fighting, having a huge action sequence, which doesn't even make sense. Mark Wahlberg's daughter and the good guy who was supposed to like started screaming and doing ridiculous things. And you know what? I don't give a shit anymore. And why? Because fuck. Okay, so then they're in fucking Beijing now, okay? And Mark Wahlberg and the over-the-top bad guy from like hours ago is now fighting. They're fighting in a really intense fist fight, which I was actually surprised was actually a good fight sequence between people. That was good, and they screwed it up. He just threw him through a window, and he fell to his death. He just cold-bloodedly murdered somebody, Mark Wahlberg's character. That is kind of dark. But don't worry, this movie's so inconsistent you won't even notice it. Because now we get to go to this ridiculousness. This big bad spaceship comes out of nowhere and begins to pick everything metal up and drop it. This is the most inconsistent scene I've ever seen in mankind, in history of mankind, because it's picking everything up and dropping it, picking up and dropping it, picking up and dropping it, but yet stuff rolling in that's metal isn't moving, which is obvious, like cars next to you, and people are going up in the air. It doesn't make sense. They're not made out of metal unless they have freaking heart implants that are made out of metal. This wouldn't be enough. They just tear right out of them. They'd be dead. You never pick them up. People aren't made of metal, Micheal Bay. Cars are. You should be showing cars being picked up and stuff out of buildings. Support beams. That'd be so awesome to look at. It'd be really cool. I mean, actually good, but no. No. We only have like half the stuff moving in the water moving. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's so inconsistently terrible. And and now finally, after the long anticipation, we get to see the giant dinosaurs ride in out of somehow across oceans, which doesn't really make sense because you got them off the ship and the ship flew. Yeah. So the dinosaurs ride in, and this is the worst CGI. This makes that screensaver look like amazing. They ride in on the worst CGI I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so bad and unwatchable. It looks almost worse, or as bad as the CGI in the Asylum movies. It's that bad. But then all of a sudden, like, it's riding, and all of a sudden, for like a split second, the dinosaur bot changes. It looks good, all of a sudden it looks really bad. And then it, like, the camera is moving, and it's awful. It's the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. And the Dinobots come in, and all of a sudden they get caught up in the giant metal thing. What a fucking buzzkill. Yeah. A fucking buzzkill. I don't even remember that happening, because I wrote this down right after it came out. I'm doing all the movies now, if you... So now... Oh yes, so... Jaeger, when he's on the ship, when they found they were doing something on the ship, I have no idea what they were doing on the ship, finds this giant gun sword thing that's the worst, dumbest weapon I've ever seen in my life, and he's shooting it, blowing everything up all of a sudden, which doesn't really make sense, and it's horrible, and terrible. Everything else is always terrible, God! Everything is not good about this movie. So, Megatron, after Optimus Prime comes and kills that giant robot villain, which we don't even know who he was, Galvatron retreats and runs away, which makes me guess why the fuck he was there in the first place if he's just gonna run away, which was kind of pointless if he was being there. And Mark Wahlberg's race car driving boyfriend and her daughter, who's always perfect in makeup, are like, our house is blowing up, because now everything is solved in the end. Everything is solved after this ridiculous, stupid, shitty action sequence. Everything is now solved. I have nothing. Because this last scene is so mind-boggling, retardedly dumb, obscene, ridiculous, shitty, fucking dumb, nonsensical bullshit. But even I would consider it ridiculous. And you can see my reviews, they're pretty terrible. And this bullshit. So, Mark Wahlberg and Sam Tucci now are friends, and his whore daughter and her retarded boyfriend, which now Mark Wahlberg likes for some reason, even though in the entire movie he never liked her boyfriend, they now get along. And everybody gets along in the end for some reason. And Mark Wahlberg was like, our house is blowing up, what are we gonna do? Then she goes, I got you covered, I blew it up. And he saves him, or he makes him a new house because he blew it up. And then we get to see the worst Optimus Prime monologue in any of the films. The worst monologue. Optimus Prime just freaking flies past the screen. And he's talking and talking and talking about how he's gonna find the creators. And flies away. Wait, the creators. Wait, what the fuck? What are you talking about? What creators? You didn't even mention that until now. I thought that. What? So this guy that you killed in the movie earlier, the big giant metal guy who was the bad guy for some reason, who gave you the sea, which they were gonna let off in the city. I don't even know if I mentioned this before. I think I skipped something because none of this adds up.